Hello, my name is Emilio, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about my knowledge question and some of the objects that I have chosen. So, starting with what role does imagination play in producing knowledge about the world? Imagination is seen as a human characteristic capable of creating entire new worlds inside of ours. Knowledge cannot happen or be comprehended without imagination. It is a tool that acts as a catalyst for creating new ideas. Everyone uses imagination to think outside the rigid truth and give explanations about things in the world that we can still not comprehend. During this exhibition, I will explore in which way and to what extent imagination helps produce knowledge about the world in different contexts, which are thinking strategically, creative ways to solve problems, and scientific contribution through the following objects: a chessboard that I have in my living room, a puzzle that I have in my studio, and a magnifying glass that was given to me from my dad. So, starting up strong with my first knowledge object, I have chosen is a puzzle that will usually lie on my studio and was gifted to me on my 10th birthday by my aunt. It has an amazing image of dinosaurs, and whenever I have free time, I play with it. I firmly believe that this puzzle served to me throughout my 17 years of life as a real example of how imagination can fly and sometimes lead me to solve it in multiple ways, which I never knew I could, and how this can produce knowledge about how I see the world today. When trying to solve the puzzle, I almost always use the trial and error technique, with the pieces I see connect with each other. Lately, because of extensive play with it, I have recognized some patterns in the pieces. Commonly, these are colors, shades, and textures in the image that I remember from the box. So, the image painted, it is just one of multiple solutions that can be used to solve the puzzle. I therefore use my imagination in order to reinterpret the pieces I have from the box and use what I have been given to create imaginary scenery. When I try to give a creative solution, I usually first analyze which shape can represent the best of what I'm trying to convey, and then build it, which is similar to how thinking outside the box in some creative solutions can lead to unique discoveries about the world even when a theoretical solution has already been proposed. Therefore, I think that imagination is led by knowledge and reason, which work alongside with each other to join these concepts together in a way in which I can obtain information about the world using my pattern recognitions and newly made connections in my mind. The second object of my exhibition is a handheld magnifying glass that my father used to carry when he was an active biologist and in his studies throughout the 70s and 80s. My father, when he was in his outdoors investigation, used this tool to record his observations about flora and sometimes fauna in Chiapas, Mexico. Hence, every time I used it, it is valuable for me to ponder about how my imagination has transformed simple observations into cohesive discoveries, and how I can link ideas to create new knowledge. For me, it is more than a scientific instrument. It carries my link between my imagination and science, just as it carries my link between my father and I. With it, I can see the world in a different way, textures and subtle patterns that the earth has carefully engraved in the beauty of nature. And when I had the chance to see them, it made me realize that there is much more in the world that we are capable of seeing. And it is with these tools that I understood that science it is not only about numbers, but also how can our observations make us use our imaginative minds and brains to rediscover ourselves and the world that surrounds us. Imagination is hence the bridge that transforms observations into usable knowledge. It allows the human to see beyond redundancies and imagination and things that may be considered trivial, and also uses these observations made with the magnifying glass and other instruments to construct hypotheses and use coherent different perspectives to give meaning to ambiguous data. Therefore, the world can be magnified using imagination, and scientists like my father and the one I am aspiring to be can use this to create discoveries about the world. The third object of this exhibition is a chessboard that I have in my living room. It is quite antique. It is quite rusty and dusty, and some pieces are missing, but it holds memories of the countless late night conversations with my family and friends. Those late night conversations where time doesn't seem to pass, and suddenly it is 3 a.m. in the morning. It misses then to pieces, which we usually would swap out, but whatever we have to come. The only thing that mattered in that moment was the joy of the moment and the presence of the people that were surrounding me. So every time I play chess with it, I think about those moments and how thinking strategies using my imagination helped me out in those situations, family situations, where I discovered new things about myself and about people that surrounded me. So I think that the chessboard has given me abilities to relate to the real world. Every time I play chess, I use my imagination to anticipate the opponent's moves. I tend to see all the little details and therefore all the possible outcomes before making an informed decision, both in chess and in real life. It is true that chess is a timeless game, and thus there are countless strategies to beat it nowadays, but I often see myself relying more on my intuitive, imaginative thinking to avoid becoming predictable, which is something that most people know that it is quite dangerous in the chess environment. It is true that knowledge plays a key role in exploring the world, but us as humans, having access to imagination, we are allowed to imagine and evaluate all the possibilities in every situation, and therefore make those informed decisions, which can come from something so mundane and trivial, such as which coffee to drink in the morning, to really strong decisions, such as workplace options or even university decisions, which links the idea of knowledge not being just discovered but also constructed every day, and those errors that we may disregard makes us stronger and makes us think about what we did wrong and what we can improve to make better informed decisions. Now that I have talked enough about my three knowledge objects and my knowledge question, I have some reflections and a conclusion that I have to give. So, in conclusion, imagination plays a key role in producing knowledge about the world. This is actively demonstrated through my objects, where I sought imagination and how it shapes how I approach to puzzles in a different way, how I make scientific observations with my magnifying glass, and how I think strategically in chess. It makes me see beyond what it is evident, and I create a connection between ideas and outcomes where I think outside the box and create unique solutions to difficult problems. For this reason, by linking knowledge about the world and imagination, I can expand and explore new ways of thinking. Thank you for listening to this video.